happened to you that sometimes you feel sick and you want to explore where you, how do you feel, and you cannot do it? So that's the same thing when you try to communicate with other people when you don't speak the same language. If you are learning a new language, you need to find a method. It's not just coming and repeat, oh, I'm just going to speak about some topics and I need to learn about that topic. Yes, you need to learn about that topic, but you need to understand the environment. The first thing that you need to know when you are going to learn a new language is what are the differences between the main language that you speak with the new language. What are the differences? Like if you want to learn Spanish, Spanish is a phonetic alphabet. It's like you are going to speak Arabic, Russian. So we have some languages, like you can see in the way that you see how they spell the words is the same way that you are going to speak. So knowing that difference, you can see if you are going to focus and use the code, the language that you have to improve that, or if you don't, you cannot use that. For example, if you are going to learn English, it's not the sound is not exactly the same as the letters. In Spanish, we have some, like but. We have, for example, the C and the S. The C and the S sometimes sound like, sometimes the sound is like so, or the G and the J, so completely different sounds, but only that one. So in English we have multiple, so we cannot focus on that. So if you are learning English, you know that you need to focus in the sound, in how you can listen. The other thing is that's the first. The second point is like learn how to learn the language as a native language. What do that mean as a native person? The kid doesn't start writing or reading. The kid starts with the sound. So if you are learning Spanish and you are using some apps like Duolingo or different apps, and you just try to fill the blanks, so just focusing repeating. You need to start repeating. You need to start perceiving the sound. If you understand the sound, you are going to pronounce. If no, it's very difficult because you will always have the same mistakes. So that's a really good point. So every time that you are going to learn according to the language that you try to learn, focus in the speaking, how you can pronounce. If you want to write because you love to write, my suggestion is, one, just to draw something, use colors, use something that can connect you with your emotion, with your feelings. The feeling when you speak a new language is very important because it's the perception, it's the way that you are going. You don't need to repeat, you just need to create, okay? So that's the point. Just try to use some strategies to get to the point, and if one day you learn one sentence, that's wonderful. Not one word. Every time that you learn something, try to focus in that word in a sentence. Don't start learning the words isolated. So don't start just one word or a list. You can use, like sometimes we need to use, if it's white and black, so the opposite, but try to use it, try to create the image. If you cannot listen, if you cannot hear, you can use all your feelings and you will get your perception. You can understand even if you don't see. If the person can tell you exactly, or not exactly, but that can recreate the topic or the thing that they want, you can understand, yes? So it's not necessary that you see. So that it's a big mistake, like sometimes we do. When the language that you are going to learn, that you will try to learn, is not phonetical language, You just need to try to connect with the idea, with the topic in general, to just visualize that, not to write it down. We make some mistakes when we are learning English. The people that learn English as an adult, sometimes we have that problem, because every time that someone tells us one word, we just need to try to put it on a paper. So even if we put it on a paper in our mind and we ask, how do you spell that? No, that's not the good way, because when you are going to speak, you are not going to write. So you don't need to learn how to write, because it's a big difference in the way that you read or that you speak that word and the way that it's written. So that's the second point. And the final point, the third point, it's how you can practice. So find a way to practice. If you just need to practice with you, so do it. Do recordings and measure that recording. So give yourself the feedback that you need. And what do that mean? Like, if you are going to speak, what about if you try to say, okay, I'm going to record 1 minute, 2 minutes, according to your level, according to the way that you can speak. And how many times I see in my video, because the most important thing of the video is like you see the video. You see after you record it, you see the video. So just try to focus, okay, how many times I stop or I got stuck. Like, yeah, because I couldn't remember the words, or I got lost. Or how many mistakes, big mistakes I made. And I said big mistakes because even in your own language, you make mistakes. And sometimes you go forward, you continue it. Sometimes you stop, you correct, and you go forward. But you are not going to think all day, oh, I did this mistake. So try to find your feedback. So if you are trying to learn a new language, that's the 3 topics that I invite you. First, know the difference between your own language, your main language, and the new language that you want. The second one, try to learn as a native speaker, not as a student, because as a student, you can memorize stuff. You can just repeat stuff. But as a native, you try to create. You need to create the language. And the third one is practice. Find a way that practice with other people. What about if you volunteer online, one by one? So you can do different stuff just to practice, because practice is the best skill that you can get. It's not about if you are smart, it's not about if you have talent, it's not about anything. It's about how you can practice, and the result depends on that practice. So that's for today, and see you in another video.